Hello everyone, myself Praisy Samuel, volunteer at Shivi Forensics. I'm going to talking about wildlife forensics. In this PPT, I'm going to discussing the topics such as introduction, that is what is wildlife forensics, what are the natures of wild crime, national and state acts, what is Wildlife Protection Act which is established in 1972, what is the importance of this act, how we done wildlife crime investigation process and how to collect the evidence. Finally concluded this topic. Let's start our topic. What is wildlife forensics? Wildlife forensics is a branch of forensic science. It involves applying scientific techniques to solve crimes related to wildlife like illegal hunting, poaching and trade of endangered species. It helps identify culprits and provides crucial evidence in legal cases and also supporting the enforcement of laws that protect animals and plants from exploitation and harm. Next, we are discussing about natures of wildlife crime. What are the natures of wildlife crime and how to cause crime? First, damage to habitat, that is destruction or disturbance of natural environments. Then import and export, that is we also call smuggling, that is illegal movement of wildlife parts or products across borders without permission. Trespass means entering protected wildlife areas, zones without permission. Domestic trade, that is illegal buying or selling of wildlife or their parts within a country. Then cruelty. Cruelty means causing suffering, injury, or harm to animals. Hunting or fishing, that is killing or capturing wildlife without permission or in prohibited areas. Violation of rules, that is breaking laws or regulations related to wildlife protection. Final possession, that is keeping prohibited wildlife species or their parts illegally. Now I'm talking about national and state acts which is deals with the wildlife protection. First, Wildlife Protection Act which is established in 1972, J&K Wildlife Protection Act, that is Jammu and Kashmir Act 1978, Indian Forest Act 1927, State Forest Acts, Forest Conservation Act 1980, Environment Protection Act 1986, Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960, Customs Act 1962, Indian Fisheries Act 1897, the Maritime Zones of India Act 1981, finally Indian Penal Code. Each of these laws plays a role in regulating and protecting natural resources, wildlife, the environment, and maintaining law and order in India. What is Wildlife Protection Act? Wildlife Protection Act, which is established in 1972 by Indian government. This act is made to protect wild animals, birds and plants. It applies across India except Jammu and Kashmir, and this act includes 6 schedules that give different levels of protection to different species. The main goal of this act is prevent hunting, protect habitats and conserve biodiversity. Importance of the Wildlife Protection Act. Why Wildlife Protection Act have this much of importance? We know that India has a rich diversity with various plants and animals, but many species face rapid decline. Such declines threaten ecological balance and affect climate and ecosystems. Before 1972, the main law was the Wild Birds and Animal Protection Act 1935, which had weak penalties for poachers and wildlife traders. At that time, India had only 5 national parks due to these issues. A stronger law was needed to protect wildlife and their habitats effectively. This Wildlife Protection Act is a vital because it safeguards biodiversity, ensures ecological balance, prevents illegal exploitation, and promotes sustainable coexistence between humans and nature. That's why this act have this much of important. I'm told that Wildlife Protection Act consists of 6 schedules. Schedule 1 and Part 2 of Schedule 2 describes that list of species that are fully protected. Hunting or harming them carries the highest penalties. Schedule 3 and 4, which contains species are protected but penalties for harming them are lower. Schedule 5, animals list here are allowed to be hunted. Final Schedule 6 explains certain endemic plants cannot be cultivated or planted, they are strictly prohibited. Now I'm going to discussing about endangered and protected species. Endangered species are plants, animals or other organisms at high risk of extinction. About 40% of species are endangered all over this world, including many turtles globally. Some are extinct, critically endangered or vulnerable, and the situation is worse in Asia. This slide may mention rate and years of different species which is faced more high risk level of endangerment from the calculation of IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature. Here I am showing pictures of few endangered species of plants, that is Rafflesia flower, Texas wild rice and Arizona agave. These are the few endangered species of animals: black rhino, Amur leopard, mountain gorilla. Now I'm going to discussing about important topic wildlife crime investigation. Wildlife crime investigation process is a detecting and investigating illegal activities involving wild animals and plants. It uses law enforcement and forensic methods to uncover offenses like poaching, illegal trade, or killing of protected species, which includes animals and plants. And this wildlife crime investigation process aiming to protect biodiversity and enforce wildlife laws. Here I am showing different types of wildlife crimes such as hunting. Hunting is humans killing animals for food, sports or other purposes. Then consumption. Consumption involves using animal products for human benefits like meat, fur or natural resources. Then trading. Trading means buying or selling of wildlife or their products. Then habitat destruction, that is humans destroy natural habitats through deforestation, agriculture or mining, etc. Then attempt human attempts that negatively impact wildlife, such as attempts at controlling pests, capturing animals, etc. Collection of evidence is the integral and crucial part during the investigation process. Evidence collection in wildlife crime involves gathering and securing physical or biological evidence related to illegal activities involving wildlife. This process is vital for identifying offenders, supporting legal cases, and ensuring proper prosecution. By documenting clues accurately, authorities can strengthen their investigations and help protect endangered species. Here we look how investigation officers are collected evidence from the wildlife crime scene basis on their nature. Biological samples like blood, fur, feathers and DNA collected at crime scenes. It helps to identify the species involved in that particular crime. Physical evidence like horns and tusks, often linked to illegal poaching, help to identify the species, and sometimes it provides details of sex, age also. Trace evidence examination is very important during the investigation process. Trace evidence like hair, fiber or pollen grain. This may found on a suspect that can be linked them to a specific animal or crime scene. These all evidence are collected and this packing, labeling and finally sent to wildlife forensic laboratory for further information. This methods collectively help forensic scientists to identify species involved in crime, cause of death, or cause of the reason of that crime, trace illegal wildlife activities, and link suspects to specific crimes. I'm concluded this topic. Wildlife forensics applies scientific methods to solve crimes against animals and plants, such as poaching or illegal trade, etc. It identifies species, tracks the origin of wildlife products, and connects offenders to crimes. The wildlife crime investigation process ensures proper collection of evidence, lab analysis, and legal action. It helping to protect endangered species and conserve biodiversity. These are the importance of wildlife forensics. I hope all are understand this topic wildlife forensics and its importance. Thank you for your attention and listening me. Thank you all.